Hi, my name is Megan, and I just have some thoughts I want to share with you. The title of this is called Who Decides? And you will find the scriptures in Genesis 25:27 through 34 and Genesis 27, 1 through 40. How often do our own decisions come back to bite us in the backside? How often are we ourselves the very person who has put us in the tricky situation we are in? How often do we feel stuck? And when you do feel stuck, you're blind to the fact that it is you who can get yourself out. In Genesis, we see Esau and Jacob. Jacob is at home cooking lentil stew. Esau has been hunting. He's famished. He was working hard. Esau looks to his brother and says, "Give me that soup." Jacob was quick to bargain. "I will give you the soup for your birthright." Nothing is free. Everything has a price. But does a bowl of soup equal a man's birthright? In that time, birthright was extremely important. In ancient Israel, all the sons received some of the father's property, but the oldest received a double portion. I do realize that this is before Jacob's name was changed to Israel. However, learned behaviors and customs would flow right along with this. The oldest son would receive a double portion because he would become the leader, and he would be responsible for taking care of his mother and unmarried sisters, as well as any other family members who could not care for themselves. Being there are only two sons here, Esau would get 2/3 and Jacob 1/3 of his father's wealth. But with the bigger portion, Esau would have had a greater responsibility. Now that we know what Esau had, Jacob wanted to trade all that for a bowl of soup. Mind you, he did not offer his own birthright with the soup. Soup alone for the birthright of Esau. I have to say, I do enjoy a bowl of lentil soup from time to time, but not enough to trade my birthright. At that moment, though, Esau was hungry. How often has the mood of the moment set the tone for the decisions you make? Not only was he hungry, but he was still under his father's authority. He was not in charge yet, so his birthright was not real. So Esau traded his birthright for a bowl of lentil soup. The New Living Translation says he showed contempt for his rights as firstborn. Fast forward a bit. Now we see Isaac is old. He believes his end is near. Isaac is ready to bless Esau, his favorite son, his firstborn son. Now there is most likely a whole sermon here on the dangers of picking favorites among your children. There could also be a sermon about lying and scheming, but I don't want to talk about that. I want to focus on something a little different. I want to focus on hope. Before I break down the meat of today's scripture, I will continue to paraphrase how we get there. I said before, Isaac is old and dying. He wants to bless his son Esau. Isaac said, "Go and kill some wild game and make my favorite stew." After he eats, Isaac intends to bless Esau. So Esau goes out to do as his father asked of him. While Isaac's favorite son is Esau, Rebekah's favorite son is Jacob. Rebekah heard Isaac's plan and made one of her own. She sends Jacob to collect 2 young goats. She knows just how her husband likes his stew, and she makes it with the goats. Jacob is unsure of his mother's plan. He is not hairy like his brother. Rebekah had a plan for that too. She puts the goat's fur on Jacob's arms. Poor Isaac is fooled, and he gives the blessing meant for Esau to Jacob. Isaac leaves nothing out. His blessing was thorough. Now Jacob has Esau's birthright and blessing. Jacob leaves just before Esau returns, and Esau is excited. He exclaims, "I'm back, Father, and I have your stew. Eat so that you may bless me." Isaac was dismayed. He realized he had been fooled and told Esau that the blessing would stand. It cannot be taken back. Genesis 27:36. Esau exclaimed, "No wonder his name is Jacob, for now he has cheated me twice. First he took my birthright as the firstborn, and now he has stolen my blessing. Oh, haven't you saved even one blessing for me?" Isaac said to Esau, "I have made Jacob your master, and have declared that all his brothers will be servants. I have guaranteed him an abundance of grain and wine. What is left for me to give you, my son?" Esau pleaded, "But do you have only one blessing? Oh, Father, bless me too." Then Esau broke down and wept. I find it interesting here how Esau is angry. He is angry at having been cheated twice. When we look back at what he freely and foolishly traded, he sees it very differently. He traded his birthright for soup, but remembers being fooled or tricked by his brother. Instead of taking responsibility for his actions, how often Do I misremember a situation to suit my ego or my needs? Yes, Jacob made a ridiculous offer, but it was Esau who accepted it. Esau gave everything up for a bowl of soup and would have only had his father's blessings. But now Esau doesn't even have that, and he didn't take responsibility for his own actions. He gave all his anger and disappointment to his brother. I wonder how often my own foolish decisions have put me in a place of discord, but I remember it wrong, or I twist it to suit my now pitiful situation. Now let us get to the meat of today's thoughts. Genesis 27:39. Finally his father Isaac said to him, "You will live away from the riches of the earth and away from the dew of heaven. You will live by the sword and you will serve your brother. But when you decide to break free, you will shake his yoke from your neck." Did you see it? Did you hear it? Hope. Hope in despair. Hope in pain. Hope in darkness. Let me show you. But when God gives you a but, it is time to look for a turnaround, a 180 from the previous despair. But when you decide to break free, you will shake his yoke from your neck. Wow. When who decides? When you decide. Isaac gave Esau an out. He gave Esau hope. When Esau decided he would be free from all he had done to himself and all his brother had done to him, when Esau decided he would be free from the yoke of Jacob, who needs an out? Who needs to be reminded that there is hope? Jesus says in Matthew 11, verse 28 through 30, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and heavy burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest for your soul. For my yoke is easy to bear, and the burden I give you is light." Who needs to decide to break free from the yoke that they chose to put on and change it out with the light and gentle yoke of Jesus? It's time you decide.